Okay, let's dive into a dark fairy tale. This is the story of a hero, a monster, and a betrayal that was centuries in the making. It's really a cosmic horror story, hiding inside what sounds like a simple parable, and it all starts in a place you would never expect. So, this story kicks off like all the best myths do, right? You've got a kingdom of light, but there's a darkness waiting just underneath it all. This dragon, an ancient being named Barbatos, was trapped down there, locked away by the actual laws of creation. But he had a plan.
At the very heart of this thing are these two opposing forces. See, the dragon needed a key to get out of his prison, and he decided he was going to forge that key from the spirit of a man who lived up in the light, the bat. His goal? To twist a symbol of hope into the very thing that would unlock his own dark arrival.
But you see, the dragon couldn't just escape on his own. Nah, he needed help from the world above. And you know what? He found some willing accomplices in a secret society, a group that was powerful, super greedy, and lived right in the bat's own city. And this is where the Court of Owls comes in. Barbatos whispered promises to them, telling them that if they just helped him out, they would rule the kingdom forever. And because they were so blinded by their own pride and ambition, they actually saw themselves as his partners in some grand design. They never realized they were just his janitors, the hired help there to clean up and prepare the way. So their mission, the one whispered to them by this dragon, was to patiently, secretly corrupt the bat from the shadows. Their entire existence, for generations, became dedicated to one single, insidious purpose: to turn the world's greatest hero into the key the dragon needed to escape his prison.
And we are not talking about a simple plan here. Oh no. This was a patient, generational ritual. The owls weren't just attacking the man. They were systematically poisoning his entire legacy, one calculated step at a time. The whole conspiracy was built around tainting the bat's life with 5 distinct, cursed metals. You can think of them like cursed coins. So every time he fought, every single time he bled, the owls were lurking there in the shadows, pressing these dark coins into his life. It starts with electrum, the stuff that kept their undead assassins alive. And it goes all the way to the final, transformative dose of a metal they literally named after the bat himself, Batmanium. Each metal was like a single note in a dark song, another step in this long ritual designed to attune the bat to the dragon's frequency.
And just look at how they did it. I mean, their plan was terrifyingly comprehensive. It wasn't just physical. They manipulated history itself to engineer the perfect conduit. They used their own assassins as test subjects, as prototypes for the metal's effects, and they psychologically tortured the bat for years to, and this is a dark way to put it, tenderize his soul, making him susceptible to the darkness. But who exactly is this great dragon the owls were so desperate to serve? Well, the answer to that takes us all the way back to the very beginning of creation, to a kind of cosmic workshop where entire universes are born. Believe it or not, he was originally a divine servant, kind of like a cosmic recycling machine, living in a dark cellar beneath something called the World Forge. His whole job was to eat the broken, failed worlds, the nightmares, so their energy could be used to create new life. Okay, so imagine a cosmic sculptor's workshop. Barbatos was the beast they kept in the cellar, and his job was to eat the broken statues. But he started to develop a taste for failure. He stopped doing his job, and then, in the ultimate act of betrayal, he devoured his own master, the World Forger, plunging the entire forge into darkness. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates that turning point. He went from being a custodian to a hungry sickness just festering down below. He began hoarding all those nightmare worlds he was supposed to destroy, building an army of broken realities in the dark, just waiting for his chance to escape. So, you see where this is all going, right? The owls' centuries-long scheme was never actually their own plan. It was just the final step in the dragon's ancient plan to break out of his cellar and consume the whole workshop above. The owls really believed their ritual, their centuries of loyal service, was going to grant them ultimate power. They thought they were building themselves a throne, but they completely misunderstood the nature of their own ambition. They weren't building a throne, they were building a door for a power far greater than them. So when that final metal touched him, the bat's spirit, already tenderized from a lifetime of trauma, it began to vibrate.
All his suffering had perfectly attuned him to the frequency of the dark multiverse. He wasn't a god, he was a living tuning fork, a doorway through which the dragon could finally walk. So the key is turned, the bridge is formed, and the great dragon Barbatos steps through the bat and into the light. The plan, centuries and centuries in the making, had finally, horribly, succeeded. And this brings us to the final, absolutely brutal lesson of this whole parable. What's the ultimate reward for your ambition when you've been serving a cosmic, world-eating dragon? What happens to the janitors when the master finally arrives? The promise of eternal rule? Yeah, that was a lie. A lie from the very beginning. Their own ambition made them completely blind. The owls thought they were partners, but they were just tools. And tools, well, they always get discarded once their purpose is served. Their reward for centuries of faithful, treacherous service was to be the dragon's very first meal. Barbatos unleashed his army of nightmares, and the Judas tribe was simply devoured, their ambition ending not with a crown, but with screams. Now that he's free, Barbatos is so much more than a monster. He's a fundamental force of anti-creation. He commands a horde of broken heroes, these nightmare Batman from dead worlds, and he wields something called the anti-music. That is the collective scream of a billion failed realities, a sound powerful enough to shatter creation itself. And that's the truly chilling takeaway from all this. The story of the dragon and the bat proves that even the brightest lights can be twisted and used to unlock the darkest cellars. And it leaves us with a terrifying question. What other keys are being forged in secret right now in our own world?